and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where 2023 is now upon us, and I'm wishing you all today a very, very happy new year and all the very best for the year that we have ahead of us, because today we are going to be looking back at the reaction following Barca's rather disappointing and frustrating end to 2022, and we are going to be looking at some of the criticism that's been levelled at Xavi following those drop points, and we are going to be determining whether that criticism is warranted and just how angry Xavi was after that game on Saturday, along with a wider issue too. And I mean that quite literally, because we've got to talk about our wingers. We have to talk about the winger situation at Barca. What is going on with them right now? It is all coming up, so come on! And let's do it! Because indeed, guys, after we eagerly awaited Barca's return to action, and of course we had a good lead at the top of La Liga to start protecting, it was safe to say that the draw against Espanyol to end the year, it's not really what we had in mind. It's not what we dreamt about there when thinking about Barca's return and signing off on the year. We do, though, remain top of the league right now. Heading into the new year, we are top, but only on goal difference. There's no gap there anymore. And like I say, at the end of the season, that's going to be decided on head-to-head anyway. In just one match there, our lead has now been erased. And as a result of that fact, there definitely has been significant criticism. Now, particularly when it comes to Xavi Hernandez, certain sections of the Spanish media have been critical of him following the game and the draw against Espanyol, and indeed some of the decisions that Xavi made during that game in terms of in-game management, the subs there that came on and trying to affect the game in a positive way. And there are certainly as well a few murmurings among the fan base who are asking significant questions of Xavi and demanding more from he and the team. And given Xavi's connection with the club and how much he understands how things work here, he knows there's always going to be pressure to win. However, the first thing that I would say here about this criticism and about this disappointment right now, you feel it in the fan base, after a game like that. There's no hiding away from it. It was certainly a bad game and a bad result for us, but I think some of that real frustration, in my opinion right now, it comes down to impatience from many of us Barcelona fans. And let me just explain what I mean by that there, because right now we effectively have a full squad to choose from. We got players back from injury. We had even Robert Lewandowski available there, not suspended yet. He wasn't, but still, we couldn't see our best team. I think that's a real frustration here, because you're looking at the team that played against Espanyol. You could easily still there replace three of that back four. You could bring in Araujo. You could have Koundé in there. I would have started Alejandro Balde. You can still significantly strengthen and improve that back line. And in the forward line too, you would ideally have Dembele in there. You would ideally have Robert Lewandowski, who was prepared to play and didn't spend all week thinking that he was going to be banned. And I think right now, from so many of us Barcelona fans, we're really excited to see this team at its potential. Really excited to see the players that we signed all together and playing. But it's just another game here, another frustrating one. And I understand why Xavi didn't want to take risks looking at the long term, zooming out there. He didn't want to bring players back in too quickly. And I agree with that. But it's still frustrating for us because we really do just want to see our best team. When talking, though, about the drop points against Espanyol, there's a bit of an elephant in the room. And when I say elephant, maybe I mean clown in the room. I'm talking there about Mateu Lahoz and the role that he played there in what was an unbelievably irritating end to the derby encounter. He gave out 15 yellow cards in total in this game. Don't forget there, his previous game, the one before this one, it was Argentina-Netherlands, where he handed out 18 cards in total, which makes it 33 cards handed out in his last two games. That's a joke. That is simply ridiculous. At the highest level, to have a referee who could only deal in cards and who could only try and control things there by waving his arm around, it's absurd and it shouldn't be allowed to happen at this level. But even despite saying all of that, I was still glad to hear Xavi after the game not using Lahoz as an excuse. He did say the game got away from him today. He was giving out cards without any reason. He lost control of the match, but it's not his fault that we drew. It is our fault that we dropped points. So Xavi openly saying it was a bad game from Lahoz. There's no denying that whatsoever. But I am pleased we're not going to hide behind the referee. Because as much as Mateu Lahoz is a genuine nightmare and his influence on any given Barca game always seems to turn out to be a negative one for us, I was glad to hear Xavi then go on to sort of talk about our problems and our issues. He said again, it's down to us. When you have so many chances, when you get forward so many times in the game, but you aren't clinical, then it's your fault. He said we had an excellent first 30 minutes of the game, but we didn't know how to kill the game off. In the second half, we weren't at the rhythm. We weren't at the intensity required. We end the year top of the league with Real Madrid, but it's 2 points dropped. And it's all our own fault. And I can't really argue with any of that there from Xavi. I think looking at the press conference, looking at the way that he's handled himself after this game, I genuinely think, guys, he was furious there at the way the team relaxed in this game, scoring one goal in the derby and then thinking, oh, that's enough. It's all going to be fine from here. It's all going to be smooth sailing. That is nonsense. You as a Barcelona player have to understand you need more. You've got to be going for more. And I think my biggest concern right now would be, how many times have we said this, though? Because if it was a one-off game, if this was something that happened and it was a bit of an anomaly and something that maybe we didn't see happening again, then I'd think, okay, well, let's just move on. Let's write it off here. It's one of those games. We will bounce back. But this has happened too many times now, and that's when, for me, it becomes a bit of a concern when we're seeing repeat mistakes, reoccurring themes in this team. And I think right now we've got to address this very, very quickly, and Xavi has to come down hard on this team, and he has to make them aware it won't be tolerated. And that is why I was so relieved to see, actually, that these weren't just empty words from Xavi here, that we weren't really going to see any repercussions for that drop in intensity, because apparently he was raging after the game on Saturday there in the dressing room, very, very angry, showing the emotion, heart on his sleeve. But not only that, then on Sunday, the team were originally scheduled to have a full day off there. It was New Year's Day. Xavi had originally given them a bit of freedom on that day there with no training scheduled, but after Saturday's game and the performance, he said no chance. He said, believe you and I, you're all in on Sunday. No getting around that there. Training was reinstated. The day off was cancelled for the players. I think that's already a sign there that Xavi cannot let the standards slip. You know, when he came in, everything was very, very nicely set out, organised. There were rules. They were enforced with real strength. And we've got to get back to that now. This has to be a wake-up call for the team heading into the new year. You can't let those standards slip. You cannot let minds wander. If we want to win this league, you've got to earn it. However, that is not really where my concern ends looking at Saturday's game and looking at the season that we've seen from Barca so far. And it was actually a comment there on my match review at the weekend that really did encapsulate the way I was feeling after that game, because the comment there said every one of our wingers has me either confused, frustrated, or both. I think that absolutely sums it up right now. What we are seeing from all of our wide players at Barca, when they've been given the opportunity, it's just not happening. And I'm confused because I don't understand why they're not doing better. And I'm frustrated because given the quality that they have, they really should be. And you look at it right now, Dembele, Rafinha, Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati, those are great players. Those are quality individual players that should be able to make a difference. We have spent enormous money to get them to the club on 3 out of those 4 there. Big money to bring them in. Over 200 million spent. And what are we seeing right now? Because when you have those players at your disposal, and they all played at some stage, by the way, versus Espanyol, they were all on the pitch for a certain amount of time. And what did we get? Virtually nothing. You expect at least one of them to do something productive. You expect one of them there with all that talent, all of that quality to produce something in the final third. But they're just not right now, and we're not getting any consistency from any of them. And we can't have this. In Xavi's system as well, it's even more important because wingers are key for him. Of all the positions, of all the areas of the field, wingers are his number one priority. And if they're not performing, if they're not giving him what he needs, we're in real trouble right now, and I think we need a lot more. We need more focus. We need more improvement in the final third, in the final pass, because they're just not doing enough for me. Like I say, with the ability that they have, I don't think we can excuse here. I don't think we should excuse some of the performances that we are seeing. And I am just really interested, guys, especially now looking at the big week that we have to come. We have Atletico Madrid on Sunday. That is a colossal game. And what would you do looking ahead of that game right now? Looking at the wide options that we've had, what's worked, what hasn't worked now over these past few months of the season, what would you do in that Atletico game? If you were Xavi right now looking to find solutions, you've also got concern, of course, over whether Robert Lewandowski will be there in that game. We need our wingers to step up. We need our wingers to perform. So who are you going with right now? Who do you actually look to and you can count on to get something out of on a regular basis? Please do let me know, guys, what you are feeling there on the wide areas and indeed on this team in general and Xavi Hernandez at the helm. I just wanted to discuss with you there all of the reaction and indeed the fallout after that Espanyol game. But now it's about picking ourselves up. It's about moving on now into this new year. Let's put things right. Let's make sure that we are focused, that we don't let our guard drop, and that this team can, yes can, perform at the highest level. Let me know those thoughts down below. I hope, like I say, you had a great new year, and I wish you all the best for 2023. I will see you soon with more videos, of course, to come. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.